The Without Fear of Her Future podcast is for women who are passionately pursuing financial freedom through investing in real estate. We are here to empower you to be brave, dream big, and design a life you love. I'm your co-host, Tresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and author of the book, Without Fear of Her Future.
And I'm Melissa Baker, real estate investor and fitness coach specializing in turning properties from drab to fab. I'm here to help motivate and inspire you to build your dream life because, girl, you deserve it. Hello, beautiful. Welcome back. We are so glad to have you with us today on the Without Fear of Her Future podcast. Today, we are covering something we see all the time. Women feeling overworked, exhausted, but they're not really seeing results.
Yep. You know, it's easy to stay busy, but being busy doesn't mean you're actually moving forward, gaining traction.
No. We're breaking down the difference between busyness and productivity, plus how to focus on what really matters, and especially in real estate investing.
Right. Absolutely. What's going to make you money. Yeah. So if you feel like you're spinning your wheels, then this episode is your permission to stop doing all the things and start doing the right things.
Right. So let's talk about busy doesn't always equal productive. Mm-hmm. So why is that? Working harder doesn't always mean that you're progressing. It just is busy work, and there's things that we can spend a lot of time working on, but if what we're doing isn't leading us to make money or putting us on the track to make money, we're kind of wasting our time and not making the best use of our time, really.
For sure. You know, I see this all the time with students who will get on every single coaching call, but they never take action. And I want our students to show up to coaching calls. But I usually say, hey, get on 2 coaching calls a week. If you're getting on 5 coaching calls a week and they're an hour and a half to 2 hours, you're not working on your business. You're just, so you can just take in so much. You've got to really take action, do the things that are going to make you money.
Yeah, you can be working on your business without actually being working in your business.
Absolutely.
And it's not helping you move forward, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for some reason, we love to stay in motion. It makes us feel good if we're busy. How many times do you run into, how are you? I'm just busy. But we're doing the wrong things. So many times people are they're rebranding. We're creating spreadsheets, hours of research, and it feels like progress, but it's really just avoiding the hard things, the things that are not really that fun to do maybe, or things that are uncomfortable is usually what it is all about. So many people get stuck in analysis paralysis.
Very true. And that just spins you in circles when you just keep going because you never take action. You're looking for something.
Yep. I got to take another class. Yeah. I got to attend one more seminar. I got to read another book. More. And again, you're just wasting your time.
Yep. So the important thing is to not waste your most precious commodity, which is time, right? You've just got to jump in and start doing things. But you can also, there's a lot of things in our business that can be delegated. We can automate them. Or we can just altogether eliminate them.
Yes.
We need to talk about some of these things because busy work can be outsourced very easily. Let's talk a minute about virtual assistants.
Virtual assistants can do pretty much anything. And so all that busy work, creating spreadsheets, some of the things that we've just talked about, virtual assistants can do that. And they're very, very inexpensive. Yeah. Now, I know in the beginning when you're first starting, you may not jump into needing a virtual assistant. But at some point when your business starts taking off, virtual assistants are inexpensive and extremely helpful.
And they can do the work that you don't necessarily need to be doing, especially once you get some systems in place.
Absolutely.
Get some systems in place. Virtual assistants can take over those systems and be working it. And also, we're not perfect. You're not going to work towards perfectionism in this. This is a learning process. And I feel especially with real estate investors that are just getting started, that learning curve. Yeah. We want everything to be perfect. And if you wait till everything is perfect and your logo is perfect and your marketing is perfect and everything's on point before you really get started, you're going to waste a lot of time and money and not make any.
Yep, I agree.
So let's talk about IPAs. income producing activities, because
The
that's
ones
what
that matter.
yes, that's what we need to be doing. They're the things that are really going to generate income in your real estate investing business. So what I'm talking about, income producing activities such as marketing, so important. You've got to be marketing, lead generation, however you're doing that, whatever source you've decided to use for that. Running your numbers, running comps. That's one thing I would say you really don't want to outsource that one, because if you're going to be the one making the
Yes.
offers, right, you want to know that your numbers are right. You want to be the one doing
Absolutely.
those, making the offers.
Absolutely.
Following up. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard from our students that the first time they contacted a seller, it wasn't the right time. It just wasn't right. But because they continued and they followed up, weekly or monthly, 6, 8, even a year later, that seller
Absolutely.
came back to them.
I want to go back to what you just said. I mean, because everything that you just said is what makes us money. Marketing. You've got to go out there and find the deals.
Yes.
So many people will never start doing the marketing. And my number one question to a real, is, hey, well, what kind of marketing are you doing? And that tells me so much. Well, I haven't really started my marketing yet. Well, you're not a real estate investor yet until you are marketing on a regular basis. And this is what we always, we have a saying. Well, I used to always say, she who markets the most wins. She who markets the most wins.
Yes.
Well, last year at Rain Live, Kelton took it a step further because it was she reigns. He says, she who markets the most reigns. And I love that. And it's so true. So you start marketing and then you never stop. So here's the other thing. A lot of times people start marketing, and then as soon as they get a deal, they stop marketing because now they're just concentrating on that deal. And they get lost in that for, keep marketing. You never stop. Even when you go on vacation, you don't stop marketing. If you don't want to answer the phone, that's fine. Let it roll over to a business partner who's answering that phone. But you never stop marketing. You never stop running numbers. And I remember when I first got started, I ran comps on every friend, every neighbor, every person that I knew. I looked up their address and I ran comps on their property so that I could learn and get good and feel comfortable running comps. Networking, getting out there, going to networking events, talking to people. And then I want to just talk a little bit more what you just said about follow-up. I can't tell you, you don't get most deals on the first call or the first visit.
No.
It usually comes with 2, 3, up to 7. I mean, I always tell this story. There was one particular lady, she was on the probate list. Her dad had passed away. She had 21 properties. And she didn't know any. She was like in her 70s herself. She had no idea how to deal with these properties, but she had a lot of guilt on selling those properties because, her dad had passed them down to her. And so it took me a year of follow-up. A year. I put it in my calendar, and once a month I would call and I would check on her. How you doing? And, finally at a year, she sold me one property out of the 21 properties. And then she had some hoarders in a property, and I happened to be out in Tampa at the time, but she needed help. She didn't know how to get these hoarders out of the house. So Justin, my son and business partner, went over and dealt with those hoarders for her. And then at that point, she sold us all 20 of those other properties. So a year of follow-up. But my goodness, was it worth it? So, and listen, I'm just like anybody else. When you're calling somebody month after month after month, and you're on, month number 6, month number 7, you don't want to call. I mean, I'm dreading like pushing that button to call her again, but that's what it took. And so we got to take our feelings out of it, our emotions out of it, and just see this as, a business deal. And this is what we always say. I'm going to call until she tells me to never call her back again. At that point, I'll quit calling her. But until she says that to me,
that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
Well, there's something that you can do right now to help get focused. If this is a problem for you, if you don't feel like you're in activity, that you're doing these income producing activities, and that is to do a weekly productivity audit. And what this is just simply breaking down your week, kind of doing a check-in with yourself, figuring out where you spent your time, what did you spend your time on, what produced income or what didn't.
Absolutely.
And what progress was made. And then figure out of those activities, what activities or things that you did do you need to stop doing?
Yep.
What things do you need to start doing?
Or do more of.
Yeah, or continue doing and do more of, right?
That's right.
Because to be successful in real estate investing, you can't treat this like a hobby. It has to be run like the business that it is.
Absolutely.
That's the
For
only way that you
sure.
are successful, that I'm successful, is by treating it
Like
as
a
the business it is. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's one way that I know that this can happen, and it's one of your favorite things to talk about. So let's just go there. Time blocking.
Time blocking.
You love this.
I do. I love this. Because I mean, it changed everything for me. Whenever I went from being in the medical field, I had to clock in at a certain time, and I knew what to do when I was there, and then you'll get off. So whenever I first became a real estate investor, I was able to quit my job. You think, oh, I've got all this free time, and then I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, it was noon, and I was still in my pajamas. I had not worked out because there was no boss of me. I was the boss of me, but it really didn't feel good. It felt really yucky.
I bet you were a little bit less productive than you should have been.
Yeah, I was way less productive, and it just felt like there was no direction in my life.
Right.
And so that's when I decided that I was going to start time blocking, and I would write down every single thing. I had time blocked everything for the things that mattered. I literally time blocked my entire life. And really, it equals freedom in life. A lot of people think time blocking is no fun, but to me, it gave me more freedom, and it made me get the things done that were important. So, Melissa, I wake up, my workout time, my time with God. While I'm getting ready, I'm listening to podcasts or audiobooks. And then I have every single thing on my calendar. As a real estate investor, what kinds of things are we going to be doing? Well, we're maybe going to walk a property to maybe get it under contract. Maybe we're going to write up an offer to make an offer. Or obviously running comps, running to a title company for a closing, meeting with contractors, picking out countertops at Home Depot. For us today, on Tuesday, we're going to do all of our podcast. We have that on a calendar.
Yes.
This is the day we're blocked out for this many hours to record a podcast or for trainings or for whatever we're doing.
Right.
And once you get in the habit of doing all of those things and like time blocking every little detail of your life, you're going to squeeze so much more in, and you're going to feel so much more productive.
You really can. And it's like this past month, I'll be honest, this past month has been a crazy month for me. We had my daughter's engagement party, my mom's 80th birthday, Easter was in there, my anniversary was in there, my other daughter turned 21, and then she graduated from college, and we had a party for her, and we moved her home, and we had Mother's Day. And in the midst of all of that, business didn't stop.
That's right.
Right? So it's beautiful to get the time
And if you
freedom.
don't have every single bit of that on a calendar,
It has to
how
be
many
blocked
hours
in.
it's going to take for each thing, you're going to miss some stuff for sure.
Right, that's right. So it's okay to be busy, and it's okay to have those beautiful life moments happening, but your business can still move forward.
Absolutely.
While you're doing all of that. So you just got to have those priorities lined up of what's important, what's making you money, what's not, so you know where to put your focus. I mean, being in momentum beats perfection. You've just got to do it. Done is better than perfect.
Yep.
So really taking action over being in that analysis paralysis, it's like you say, do it ugly. Just
Absolutely.
get started.
Yes. I think back to whenever I first started in real estate investing. I started by knocking on pre-foreclosure doors.
Yes.
And you talk about doing it ugly. I had no idea what to say. I just did it. I just got my list, and I would just go knock on doors. And I was a nervous wreck. And it took me 57 doors before I got my first deal, which means I probably said it wrong 56 times. But I was nervous, and there would be one side of me every time I would knock on a door that I'm praying, oh God, let them open the door. Because if you don't have a conversation, it's not going to lead to a deal. But then there was the other side of me like, oh, don't open the door. Because I didn't even know what I was going to say. Or I just vomit all the wrong things out. And I remember so many times getting back in my car and going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. Don't ever say that again. Or when it really worked, I was like, oh, okay, that was good. I need to remember to say that every time. That's how you learn, is just do it ugly, do it unprepared. if we are going to wait, if I had waited until I knew everything that I was going to say, I would still be waiting.
never
I
get
would have
started.
never got that first deal. And so we just have to do it ugly. And then the other thing is just get started. And I'm talking about whether it's starting your marketing, making the offers. One of the great things that one of my sons, my mentor, taught me was get started. Put a date on the calendar, and that's the day you're going to start. And so
You've done that with several things.
with many, many things in my life. Now, here's what I will do is I'll put that date out there. You know, I'm like, it's a month out, it's 2 months out, so it seems like a long time, and I'm going to give myself time. Well, you know, it always sneaks up, and it's there, and it's like, oh my gosh. But the thing that I have done is once I put it on the calendar, I'm not backing out. So I'm going to get it done. I'm doing it that day, whether I'm prepared or not, and that has led me to so much success in my life that I just want to share that with everybody. Put a date that you're going to start your marketing, that you're going to do whatever is next for you in your business. Put a date on that calendar and then do it. The truth is, real estate investing or any business, it takes two things: courage and endurance.
Yep.
The courage to do it.
Yeah.
Because you never feel ready. You never feel like you're smart enough or prepared enough.
But I bet by the time you hit that 57th door, you felt a whole lot better than you did on the first 10 or 15, 20 doors.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You
You get it and you start getting it down.
So,
And then the next thing is endurance, because you got to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. I think, really, I remember knocking on like 27 doors and feeling like a loser. I'm like, oh my gosh, I obviously suck at this. I know. I mean, and I quit my job, and what am I going to do? And I was embarrassed, but hey, there was no going back.
Right.
And so then I'm hitting 37 doors, and I'm like, every time I'm like, I'm losing more and more confidence. But the one thing is, I just kept going. The endurance, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And then 47 doors, and then finally 57 doors. And all it did, I made $20,000 on that 57th door. So now I'm like, okay, well, I'll hit another 57 if that's what it takes.
It was worth it.
And so yeah, it was worth it. And here's the thing that we have to know: no matter what we want to do in life, whether it's get in shape, whether it's do a business deal, get a deal under contract, it's usually going to take longer than you expected. It's probably going to cost you more than you expected to spend, and it's probably going to be harder than you anticipated.
For sure.
But here's the deal. Is it worth it?
I think so. That victory is definitely worth it.
Absolutely. And so many people give up before they see the victory.
Yeah.
So many people. And if it was easy,
everybody'd be doing it.
That's right.
Yeah. So the one thing I think that keeps us from moving forward or from getting into those activities is fear. There's something there that we're afraid of. The real reason that we don't, that we keep putting off doing the things that we know we have to do is
that analysis paralysis is usually
fear.
Is fear.
It is fear. So, ladies, ask yourself, what is it that you are really afraid of? Mm-hmm. What is it? Figure out what that thing is, and then once you have that thing, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Because in this business, with what we're doing, really, with our specialized knowledge, we are coming to someone who honestly is probably more afraid than we are.
Yes.
I mean, if they're facing foreclosure or they have a property that they don't want to take care of, it's a burden for them. We have a solution. And I think if we can flip our mindsets to see that we are a blessing, we have something to offer, you switch how you look at things. It's not quite as fearful.
Exactly.
If you know you're bringing a solution.
And if you're offering a solution to someone that doesn't want your solution, then just go to the next door.
Yeah.
So they may yell and scream at you. They may get mad at you. They may slam a door. And who cares? You just move on to the next person, because you still have the solution for the next person or the next person or the next person. So we have to get ourselves out of the way. We've got to be able to handle rejection, not take it personally, and know that we'll just, okay, well, I'm sorry that I couldn't help you. I'm going to go be a blessing to the next person.
There you go. There you go. The important thing is to just get out and do the activities that are going to create the income, because sitting there behind a computer rebranding everything is not going to make us any money. So
again, no matter what your next step is, what is your next step? Wherever you are in the business, what is the next step for you that's going to make you money? And then you said this, Melissa, and I just want to recap on it. This is I want you to ask yourself, what is the worst thing that can happen? Whatever that thing is you're scared of, I want you just to think about what is the worst thing that could happen to you. And then here is the thing. Is that thing worth putting off all of your dreams?
Right.
Never finding financial freedom. Never not being able to change the trajectory of your family. If you ask any woman, what are you willing to do for your children? Almost every woman in the world would say anything.
Anything.
I'm willing
Absolutely.
to do anything for my kids. I will take a bullet for my kids. Well, would you make that offer for your kids?
Yeah.
Well, would you run those comps? Would you take a risk? Because those are the things that your kids need you to do. They're probably not ever going to need you to take a bullet for them.
Hopefully not.
But they could use you just doing the deal and making the offer. And so when you put it into that kind of perspective, I think that it's really powerful.
And that's the only way that we learn and grow is by stepping out and doing those things that make us uncomfortable. Because look at where you are now. You're a completely different woman than you were 5 years ago, 6 years ago when you started this journey.
Yeah, and I think
on those doors.
That's the most fun thing about the Women's Real Estate Investors Network is watching one woman at a time do that, get that first deal. And I always say, a woman is never the same after she gets the first deal, because she knows two things. First of all, she knows, oh my gosh, this really works. Yeah. This really works. And the second thing, she goes, oh my gosh, I can do it.
I can do it.
I can do it. And then it's just going and doing it again and again and again and again. And it's well worth it. And then now you'll do it afraid. You're probably just as scared on deal number 2 as you were on deal number 1. Right. You just know it works. And you know there's the potential of you making a good amount of money and creating a win-win for someone. And those things can propel you. But if you never do what it takes to get the first deal, then you're just going to get stuck. And most of the time, that's when people give up. And that's the saddest thing in the world.
And they quit before the victory.
That's exactly right.
Which is so sad.
I have no idea how close they were to victory. Well, if today's episode reminded you that you've been busy, but not necessarily productive, then I want you to take it as a loving wake-up call. Hey, God didn't create you to hustle endlessly. He created you for impact, for purpose, and freedom.
And your time is precious, and your experience is God-given. Whether you're stepping into real estate for the first time or leveling up, this is just a reminder that you're not starting over. You're stepping into alignment with His plan.
Ooh. Okay, so here's your challenge. Choose 3 income-producing activities and then commit to one every single day. I want you to take intentional steps forward. And then trust that God is going to multiply your faith and your action.
And if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and finally build wealth with purpose, join us for the Without Fear of Her Future Masterclass. You can register at withoutfearofherfuture.com. Don't wait for the right time. Just step out in faith. We will see you there. And until next time, stay focused, stay faithful, and keep building the future God has placed in your heart. Just because your calendar is full doesn't mean your life is.
Dream big and be brave.